Better late than never, the NBA will soon announce a new MVP. More accurately, a former MVP will be winning another one. All three of the finalists already have at least one MVP trophy on their shelves. Is it the Greek Freaks award to keep? Will LeBron join the ultra-exclusive 5 MVP club? Or should James Harden's unstoppable scoring make him a multiple winner? The votes are already cast. The debate begins now. Welcome, everybody, to the race to the 2020 Kia MVP. I'm Matt Weiner, joined by Sekou Smith, Mr. Kia MVP ladder himself from NBA.com, stirring things up each and every week throughout the season. Remind folks, Sekou, where your ladder ended up.
Yeah, Matt, at the end of this season, which was, of course, interrupted by the coronavirus pandemic, Giannis Antetokounmpo stayed atop the list. He almost went wire to wire this season for me. LeBron James was next at number 2. Luka Doncic, to me, was a standout and really deserved the 3rd spot. James Harden was 4th on my list, and then Kawhi Leonard was 5th. I just felt like it was hard to deny Luka and what he did, even with James Harden scoring the way he did and with Kawhi leading the Clippers to the number 2 spot in the Western Conference standings.
My ballot was Giannis, LeBron, James Harden. I think almost every ballot out there will probably be some combination of Giannis and LeBron. For you, what gives Antetokounmpo the edge?
Well, I mean, I feel like, it's not just about numbers when you're talking about the MVP, Matt. It's about impact. And does a guy take his team and elevate them to the next level? Giannis did it last year, won the award, and then had the audacity to come back this season and be even better. And I just had a hard time shaking the idea that a guy would win his first MVP and then feel like he didn't do anything and come back and top that performance. Very hard for me to move him out of that top spot, even with LeBron leading the league in assists at his age, 17 years in, and playing as well as he did for the best team in the Western Conference.
And we'll share some of those numbers. The per-minute numbers are ridiculous. The on-off-court numbers are sort of ridiculous. And the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo may well win Defensive Player of the Year as well certainly works in his favor. But we'll get into all that as the Greek Freak tries to become the 3rd player ever born outside the continental United States to win 2 MVPs. The last to do it, Canada's Steve Nash.
Just a phenomenal career, 2-time MVP. Is anybody better in the NBA right now than Steve Nash?
The rush the other way by Nash. Oh, what a pass. Yeah.
Great dribble by Nash. That one. And a foul.
Look at this. Behind the back from Nash to Jay Rich. That is an incredible play.
Oh, Nash to Tim Thomas. Wow.
He tricked everyone in the building except Tim Thomas.
The 2-time MVP in the NBA.
And let's welcome in from those revolutionary Phoenix Suns teams of the mid-aughts, the 2005 and 2006 MVP, Steve Nash, who's with us. And Steve, what has it meant to you to be a 2-time MVP?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I think considering my journey to the league, 1 scholarship offer to Santa Clara University, coming in as a 1st-round pick, but I think still have my question marks amongst the pundits. To finally to put that on your resume after working so hard year after year to overcome and close the gap on the rest of the players in the world was an incredible feeling, and definitely some reward in there, but it would have been nice to have won a title.
Yep. As you know, there's no real criteria for those of us who vote on this award. It's whoever we decide is the MVP. As a winner, how do you think voters should go about deciding who the MVP is in a given season?
That's a great question. I'm not sure I have the answer. I think, though, that when you're talking about valuable, it's got to be something in the way they impact the team, the way they elevate their teammates, the way they give their team a chance to win every night. So it's not straightforward. I'm not really sure you could make a numerical case that everyone would agree with, but there's got to be an amalgamation, I think, of the statistical values that player creates, but also the way that they elevate their teammates.
Steve, I think that's a great point. You mentioned the impact on your team. I know there was a lot of controversy, and then there usually is when somebody wins an MVP, that people start making case for other guys. You had some other players in the league who played outstanding those years you won. What does it look like to you in retrospect, just in terms of winning the award in a season where guys like Kobe and LeBron and Shaq were all really at the height of their powers as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was a case of right place, right time. I went to Phoenix, had a team that really struggled prior to me arriving there, but had incredible pieces. And in a sense, I kind of tied all that together. So, while I'm never going to claim to have had the career that some of my competitors had, in those 2 seasons, we changed in many ways the way people looked at the game, and also took a team from a position where I wasn't working to where we were running people out of the gym most nights. So although we didn't win a championship, I think we had a huge impact on the league, and my teammates played a big role in that. And I was fortunate that for me, as someone who liked to make plays for others, I had some incredible targets to make plays for.
Steve, I don't know where you stand on the new numbers versus the old numbers. We'll share them with the audience here for the 3 finalists as I get into your thoughts on who has the edge this season. Giannis's on-off-court numbers are the best in the league. His per-minute numbers are ridiculous. Nobody's scored the way he has in as few minutes as he has this season. LeBron has been great, both obviously leading their conferences in terms of wins. Where do you stand right now? Who should be the 2020 MVP?
Well, I mean, you'd be happy with any of these guys. They're all incredible players having historic, seasons and careers. I think it's hard to pick anyone other than Giannis, given that he won it last year. He's elevated his game and his team's game this year. He's probably the best defensive player in the league, putting together with his offensive contribution, the Bucks team as an offense, the way he's kind of a point center. He's so versatile at both ends of the floor. It's hard to not give it to him. But that doesn't mean that other guys aren't deserving. And I think also the depth of this award, there's guys 6, 7, 8 who can make cases for being MVPs. But at the top of it, I still think it'd be really hard to unseat Giannis as the MVP.
Yeah, when I look at Giannis, I think about the fact that, LeBron is playing with another top 10 player, in Anthony Davis. James Harden's playing with another top 10 player by most people's standards in Russell Westbrook. When I was going through my list and trying to figure out how you slot a guy's value, the fact that Giannis and Luka Doncic really elevate their teams to a level that they couldn't in any other situation. They don't have another guy on their team that's in that same stratosphere as a player. Does that make a difference at all to you, Steve? Just the fact that these guys have teams built around them and there's not another marquee player on that same level?
I think it does, but I think you could look at that both ways. Maybe LeBron would be even better statistically. But having AD there, I think, in some ways it does divide up the responsibilities. And I think, one of the things for LeBron is his continued excellence, historic excellence for so many years. He's kind of got to pick his spots, he can't have the impact, he can't play his highest level defense all season long. He's got to pick his spots to continue to be ready for the playoffs, mentally, physically, emotionally. Whereas Giannis, he's a young player. He does it all at both ends of the floor. There's no picking his spots, I think, because of the way he plays the game. Whereas LeBron is so intelligent, so gifted, such an incredible feel, makes his teammates better. In a sense, it's different with playing with Anthony and having to pick his spots at times defensively. That kind of gives, I think, Giannis the edge. But, LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time by far, and is having an incredible season at a late stage in his career. And if he were to win it, he'd be well-deserving too.
Well, James Harden's about to lead the league in scoring for the 4th straight year, first to do that since Michael Jordan back in the 80s. And as you know, he's just a different animal offensively. We have not seen this version of an NBA player before. How do you evaluate his candidacy this year?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because he is historically off the charts offensively. He's improved defensively. His team has improved too, over the course of the season to where now people are worried about them, whereas that wasn't always the case this season as they had some ups and downs. He just is. He's unguardable. He offensively, he does everything. And I mean this with the utmost respect, not only his skill level, but he's manipulated the rules in a way that I've very, very rarely seen someone be able to do. So maximum respect for him as an offensive player, as an MVP candidate, as a former MVP. I still don't know that he's had the impact on winning when you consider what Giannis has done with the Bucks this year.
Thanks, Steve. We appreciate it. Good to have you with us. Two-time MVP Steve Nash hashing out the candidacy of the 3 finalists for us. Stay safe.
Appreciate it, fellas. Okay, you too. Take care.
All right, more to come here when we continue. Totally biased, completely.